Hey guys, SlothDance here. I don't really know. I don't know how to do this. I've been really conflicted for a while because I can't pretend like I'm okay. Um, I'm starting to struggle with this. So I don't know how to make content right now that is what my channel was meant to be, kind of, a relaxing escape from the pandemic. And just kind of like chill and upbeat and like enjoyable content. And it's hard for me right now because the world is fucked up and it's upside down and it's backwards, and I am angry and mourning and heartbroken and filled with rage and grieving. So like how do I pretend like it's fine? So I either have to be open and honest about what we've been through, what we're going through, or just not make content right now. So I don't know if I'm gonna post this or not. Sorry, this is... I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe I just need to share everything. Like, you guys know, I'm an Israeli YouTuber. Yes, I'm an expat. Yes, I voluntarily moved here. At the time, I always said, no, I'm not a Zionist. I'm not, that's not it. It's just, I can have a better life there. There's socialized healthcare. There, I wouldn't be under crippling student loan debt. I'd be able to get a good job. I'd be, I was going for grad school. I was going, like, I never admitted it because I was so scared to. Because anti-Semitism around the world and in the United States is always there. It's just bubbling below the surface. And you know that at any moment people can turn on you. That can come out. And it could be anyone. It could be people that you were friends with for years. Like, I've lost friends over this. Of course I have. People that you trusted. People that you thought cared about you. So it is really hard, and I'm not like, oh, I'm cutting you out of my life just because you don't want innocent civilians to suffer, that you don't want innocent Palestinians to suffer. That's completely reasonable, and honestly, I was a peacenik for the majority of my life. Yes, I'm a centrist, but I always believed that there was a way forward to peace. And the big thing about Israelis is most of us believed in peace and believed maybe different ways on how to get there. Obviously, we don't all agree on what is the right solution on how to get there, but everybody wanted a life of peace. And Israeli children aren't taught from birth to hate Palestinians, to hate Arabs, to, like, obviously some people do. Some people are just discriminatory. And that exists everywhere. You could be taught to hate Arabs in America. You could be taught to hate Arabs in Europe. It's not an Israeli thing. Most people are not taught that, but like, again, I've lived here for about 14-15 years, and I had also been here several times before. I had volunteered here for extended periods of time, and I was here during the second Intifada. Was actually my first trip here, and hearing people be afraid, and it wasn't racism, it was fear, and it was trauma. And having kids have to learn the Azaka, the siren song in school, because they needed a way to try to teach kids that when the siren goes off, the air raid siren, which who knows if it's going to happen at this point while I'm recording this, goes off, that they need to get to safety. And that's not something that other kids need to learn, but they're not taught, oh, hate people. Hatred isn't ingrained in our education system. It's not ingrained in our belief system. And some of the biggest peaceniks in Israel were people like Kibbutz Be'eri, Kibbutz Kfar Aza, the people that were massacred and slaughtered, the people that suffered the most brutality I have ever heard. Sorry, just pretend like that didn't happen. It's disgusting. Pretend like what these people suffer through isn't real. It's so messed up. And to see that, and to see people saying that, like, it's hard enough for Jews to deal with Holocaust deniers, and then to be witnessing it firsthand, knowing what happened, knowing people who work for Zaka, who are attending to the bodies, knowing what they've seen, knowing people from these communities losing friends and colleagues. Can't pretend like this didn't happen. And yeah, I could give you the whole history because I studied for years as a tour guide, and it gives you credits for a master's in history, the tour guide course. Like, you just have to do another 6 months studying to get your master's in history. Like, we studied for years the history of the region, everything, and not once was hate ever taught in this class. And they always said, you need to be balanced, you need to be fair, you need to know all sides of this history. And we had Palestinians in our class, and we had, Israeli Arabs in our class, and we had Christian Arabs in the class. And because I did the course in English, it was a very diverse class, and we were all sat there and talked about our experiences with these issues. I was here during the pull-up from Gaza, and I was here for so many operations in Gaza, and everybody always talks about it. It's not, we don't hate Palestinians, we don't hate Arabs. Hamas is a genocidal terrorist organization that committed horrific acts of brutality, of barbarism, of frankly things that are inhumane. And if you actually wanted to put yourself through the psychological trauma of witnessing some of these things, of buried witness, of hearing the stories, I mean, if you feel like you are emotionally capable enough, please do. This idea of buried witness is very strong in Judaism, especially since the Holocaust, that we can't ever let these atrocities happen again. And they are. Who puts a fucking baby in an oven? I'm sorry. I can't. I'm just... I mean, who kidnaps a 10-month-old baby? Sorry, I just... I don't know if this is gonna go up. I just... Okay. Trying to compose myself, trying to get through this. So, what it's been like for us. I don't know how to say this in a way that doesn't sound insensitive, because whatever trauma you've been through matters, and just because your trauma might be worse or less, or whatever people decide to judge it as, doesn't mean that your trauma isn't valid and that what you've been through doesn't matter. So, being in Beersheba, we were, I guess you could say, lucky to not have had terrorists invade our city. If you look at a map, we were literally just outside of the areas that were attacked. We live in the part of the city where you have probably a little less than a minute to get to safety. We do have a safe room in our home. So I'm waking up. I taken my insomnia medicine. I've spoken before about how insomnia. I took my insomnia medicine, and I am getting woken up, and I don't really understand why, and I'm super groggy, and I'm really out of it. And Lucky he sleeps with a CPAP. He wasn't awake yet. And I keep my phone on vibrate most of the time. I don't know, I hate the sound of my phone. It's probably an anxiety thing. I don't know, I hate it. So my phone's vibrating like crazy, and that doesn't normally wake me up, so obviously something else had woken me up, and I was already kind of awake when my phone started going off. And I answer my phone. Again, I'm super groggy, I'm super out of it. My mom is hysterical, and she's like, "Oh, thank God you're safe." And I'm like, "What? What's going on? What are you talking about?" And she keeps talking. I'm not really understanding it. I'm waking up Lucky. I'm like, there's something going on. I don't really understand. And as I'm trying to grasp the situation, the air raid sirens start blaring, which is obviously what had woken me up in the first place. So we're already kind of up. We already had the light on. We're running into the Mamad. Lucky's trying to get the shutters closed. Mamad is a safe room. It has steel reinforced shutters. The walls are all reinforced. There's a steel door. So we're running into the Mamad with Pepper, of course, and it's just sirens after sirens, and there's this gigantic boom, and the window is shaking because it is still a glass window. Like the steel, there's like blinds, the steel shutter, and then the glass window, and the window is literally vibrating, and the sound was like deafening, and I genuinely thought that a rocket hit a missile. Sorry, the translation, and yeah. So I thought that either our building was hit or someplace very close by had to have been hit by something. I mean, the whole building was shaking, the windows rattling. Like, I was terrified. I can post pictures. There was apparently a very low intercept in the parking lot across from our house. There were cars that exploded because of the shrapnel hitting it. Yeah, so we're hearing, regular sirens. The fire trucks we're hearing. We didn't know if it was fire trucks, ambulances, or
This is Dave, head of
or of
marketing at a
course,
cattle company
sorry
about to use
guys,
Grammarly
not
to handle a tight
sponsored.
deadline.
It's supposed to be an ad-free one. It's not. So we're panicked. We don't know what's going on. We have a lot of friends and family in the area. My mom was calling me. She's scared because she can't get her Mamad window all the way closed. One of my best friends across the street, literally across the street, and this was in the parking lot in between our two buildings, basically. She's panicked. She was alone. Her mom lives maybe like a 10-15 minute walk away, so it's not that far, but it's far enough that she obviously doesn't want to go get her mom. Her mom's panicking. So my best friend, Pepper, hadn't been out yet. Again, this is like 6:30 in the morning when all of this is happening, and the sirens are just constant. Anytime you start to get up to maybe go to the bathroom, there's another siren. So we hadn't eaten, we hadn't taken Pepper out yet, I hadn't even gone to the bathroom yet. So eventually it's been like 10 minutes since the last siren. We're like, okay, our friend needs her Mamad window shut, my parents need their Mamad window shut. Of course my phone's going off constantly. Are you okay? Are you okay? Everybody's asking. My sister is in Jerusalem. They don't have a safe room. With my nephew, they're getting missile barrages, and she's terrified, and she's hiding in the hallway of her building with her 3-year-old son, and she's terrified. And so of course everybody's messaging each other. The whole community, our Facebook page, everybody's like, hey, please sound off that you're okay. Let everybody know that you're safe. And then the reports are flooding in now from the news about terrorists being in different towns, in different kibbutzim, and just... So we're starting to see what else is happening. It's not just missile barrages, which we've been through before. 2014, we had daily missile barrages. Again, we had a safe room then, so we felt okay. Google has an amazing add-on that you can download, which we did, that shows you where all of the closest bomb shelters are. So we learned all the bomb shelters in our neighborhood so we could go grocery shopping. And then, so it's probably about maybe 7:30, and things seem like maybe they're calming down. So Lucky decides, okay, Pepper needs to pee. I need to get her out. I'm going to just go around and get everybody's Mamad windows closed. And my neighbor across, my friend across the street was very scared, so she decided to come over. So she came back with Lucky. So we set up in the Mamad. Like each time there was kind of a break in the sirens, we go and we get a board game, or we go and we get food, and we just kind of stayed in the Mamad all day because it was just nonstop. We tried to have, I'd run out, I'd take things out of the freezer to defrost for lunch, and so we decided we were going to try and sit at the table for lunch. And just as we had finished, of course, there's more sirens, and we're back in the Mamad, and it was pretty constant that day. And of course, the news is coming in. We also started having electrical issues because something in the neighborhood during that interceptor was hit, so our electricity kept coming and going all day. And we tried not to watch the news constantly because it was so hard and there was so much that wasn't understood about what was happening. But it's there. All the news is there. All of the videos are there. Testimonies are there. Please inform yourself. Even if it's hard, inform yourself. Understand what really happened. Understand what it really is like for us. And I'm not trying to in any way minimize the plight of anybody else or what they're going through. And I'm not saying don't support innocent people. I'm saying what we're dealing with is a genocidal, psychopathic terrorist organization that has intentionally put itself in a way to maximize the amount of civilian casualties on those sides, that wants destruction, that wants murder, that wants hate, and by feeding into that, you are promoting it. And the rise of anti-Semitism around the world has been so scary and so disturbing, and yet unsurprising. And that hurts, but that's what it means to be Jewish. That at every point in history, we've always been the other. And again, I studied this for years. You don't have to believe me, you can look it up. But the Hebrew people are indigenous to the Levant, to this region. There is no historical record of our people existing anywhere outside of this prior to written history. There's historical records for thousands of years about Judea, about the tribes of Israel, about the Hebrew people, about everything. This is where we came from. And this is our home, and we don't have anywhere else to go, and we don't have in the Eretz Acheret. Like that's it. There's no other land for us. Because every time we think we've assimilated somewhere, every time we think we're German enough, we're French enough, we're American enough, there's another push that brings that anti-Semitism to the surface. And we're the other. And we're attacked, and we're killed, and we're displaced. And it always comes back to, we only have one place to go. We only have one home. And that's Israel, and that's where I live. And I feel safer here, under missile fire, from a genocidal terrorist organization, than I would probably most other places in the world at this point. Because I know that I am being protected, that I am, that my life matters, and that I'm not, especially with where I live, like, we very peacefully coexist with our Bedouin neighbors who are technically Arab, who are Muslim, They're not Palestinians. You know, we felt their pain too, of their people being kidnapped from their community. Like I've worked in Rahat, I have friends in Rahat, and to know what their community's been going through too, because they have people who've been kidnapped too, of which I'm very sure. You know, this isn't just a Jewish issue. This is an Israeli issue. And I don't know. I don't even know if I'm gonna post this yet. I'm gonna decide, but I either have to make content with you all knowing that I'm not okay, and that there's times where I'm gonna struggle. There's times where I'm going to break down. You know, and just accept it. Accept that that's what it's gonna be right now. Or to just wait. To just wait until I'm okay, which I don't know when that's gonna be. So, I haven't really decided yet. I guess you'll find out when I decide. Thank you for those who have supported me. Those who have sent me anti-Semitic comments or a copyright claim to my channel because I'm Israeli. No offense, but fuck off. If you are a supporter of Hamas, please don't watch my channel. I just know. Just know. Yeah, so I guess that's where I'm at right now. Thank you guys that have supported me, that have stuck with me. I appreciate it. And I'll post this depending on what I decide.